All right, let's talk about a concept that's way more than just a buzzword these days. It's called the circular economy. And trust me, this isn't just about getting better at recycling. We're talking about a fundamental reinvention of how business gets done.
You know, the source material we're diving into today puts it perfectly. It compares this whole shift to the digital revolution. Remember what the internet did back in the late 90s? It completely blindsided huge established companies. Well, the circular economy? It's shaping up to be that exact same kind of disruptive force.
So that really begs the question, doesn't it? What if you could actually see the next big thing coming? What if you could get ahead of it? Well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack here. So let's get into it.
Okay, so to really get where we're headed, we first have to understand the model that we're trying to leave behind. You can think of it as a tale of two very, very different ways of looking at value.
On one side, you have the old way of doing things, the linear model. It's pretty simple, really. You take resources, you make a product, and then you throw it away. Take, make, dispose. But on the other side, we have the circular model, which is designed from the ground up to keep value moving in a continuous loop.
And here's the problem with that linear model. Value is basically a one-way street heading downhill. A company makes money one time, right when they sell the product. And after that product's value just drops and drops until it actually becomes a liability, a piece of costly waste someone has to deal with.
But the circular model, it completely flips that on its head. It's built for what you could call value regeneration. The same product can create multiple paydays through things like repair, refurbishment, resale, or even being remanufactured. Value isn't just saved, it's brought back to life over and over again.
Okay, so that's the big idea. But how does a company actually do this? How does it work in the real world? Well, it all boils down to reinventing the idea of value in three key ways.
And the framework is actually pretty straightforward. Businesses have to get smart about how they create value, how they capture that value, and how they deliver it. Create, capture, deliver. Let's look at each one. First up, creating value. This all starts on the drawing board, at the design stage. Instead of designing something cheap that's meant to be thrown away, you design it to last. You make it durable, modular, easy to fix. The whole mindset shifts from just selling a thing to providing lasting value.
Next, you've got to capture that value. And this is where all these cool new business models pop up. We're talking about re-commerce, selling used stuff. We're talking about harvesting valuable parts from old products, remanufacturing them to be good as new, or even shifting to product as a service, where you don't even buy the thing, you just pay to use it.
And finally, delivering value. This is where you stop thinking about selling an object and start thinking about providing a service. Think about recurring revenue from subscriptions or service plans. It completely changes the relationship you have with your customer. It's not a one-off transaction anymore. It's an ongoing partnership.
Okay, so this all sounds nice in theory, right? But what's the bottom line? Why is this new model actually better for business? Well, it's not just about being good for the planet, it's about being way more competitive. In fact, the source material breaks down 8 distinct advantages that circular business models have over the old, linear ones. So let's run through the first 4, quick fire. You get more attractive products, you build deeper customer relationships, you lower the total cost of ownership for your customers, and you generate recurring income. That point on customer intimacy is huge. By shifting to a service model, you're not just a faceless company anymore, you become a long-term partner. And the list keeps going. Circular models make your business more resilient, they boost how much a product gets used, they can actually cut production times, and yeah, of course, they're better for the climate. But that resilience point, in a world with shaky supply chains, being able to reuse and remanufacture your own materials isn't just a nice-to-have, it's a massive competitive advantage.
So with 8 really clear, powerful reasons to make the switch, you'd think every company on Earth would be scrambling to do this. But, if it were that easy, it would have happened already. The truth is, like any real revolution, this path has some pretty big roadblocks.
The challenges really fall into 3 big buckets. You've got financial hurdles, like the upfront cash you need for new systems. You've got operational complexity. Redesigning your entire supply chain is no small feat. And then you have the cultural shifts, which can be the toughest part. Changing how consumers think and how your own company operates.
But here's the good news, and this is really important. These challenges are not dead ends. They're known problems, and for every single roadblock, there's a structured path, a strategy that businesses can follow to get through it.
And this is basically what that path looks like. It's a 5-stage journey. Companies usually start with just basic awareness of the idea. Then they move to engagement, then implementation, then full integration into their business, and finally, they emerge as market leaders. It's a clear roadmap from A to B. So really, it all comes down to this. The circular revolution is not a question of if it's going to happen, it's happening right now. The only real question left to ask is your business going to be one of the ones leading the charge, or is it going to be one of the ones that gets left behind?